Well, I guess the first thing we should do this week is apologize for not having an episode last week. Um, a whole bunch of things came up, and yeah, turns out we don't have a backup plan for that at this point in time.
Yeah, whoops. Sorry, guys.
I guess the karma is I nearly chopped my finger off.
You what now?
Yeah, I was helping my daughter make some Japanese curry. Oh no, help her to make something. I was chopping
Ooh.
up some onions, and I may have let my finger go a little astray. And thankfully, I only just kind of nicked the tip of my fingernail and like maybe got like a touch of flesh, but
Oh.
it was close. we we, um we were kind of making a bet about who's going to end up eating the nail in the dinner.
I was gonna say, was the curry okay?
I mean, I was chopping up onions at the time, and it was fingernails, so like
Oh, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference, hey?
basically we're just like hoping that we didn't eat it, but
Huh.
it's I guess I'm I guess Amber's not vegan anymore.
Well, I was gonna say, one of you's eaten a little part of you.
Yeah, I wish there was a way for us to know who did it. That would be actually
Yeah,
hilarious.
that would be.
The plus side was it gave me a lot of time to sit down and just watch The Flash over and over again. I've been
Ooh.
back on it, the 2015 series or whenever it came out, the
Okay.
most recent series. And every time I go to watch it, I never it finished a couple of years ago, and I've tried to watch it a few times, and I always get up to like season 3 or 4, and then for some reason I just like stop watching or whatever, and then so much time passes that I'm like, what happened again? So then I start again. So I'm just hoping that I get past that point this time.
Yeah, you just gotta push through.
I'm trying. I mean, I don't have to try that hard. It's a pretty good show. It's cheesy, like, you know, it's not the Avengers, it's or anything like that. And it's full of cheesy jokes and not that great CGI, but like it's fine. It's a show. It's enjoyable. Not everything has to be Breaking Bad or whatever.
Okay. Is it like on par with Arrow or not so much?
I mean, I would personally say it's better than Arrow, but that's also just because I'm a big fan of the Flash as a character. But it's
Okay.
definitely at least as good. At least the first few seasons that I've seen. I'm sure it gets cheesier as it goes along. Um, I did see a clip on TikTok the other day where there's like 100 reverse flashes like doing something. So like I'm sure it has its moments, but I mean the arrow gets pretty cheesy at times too. So
Yeah. I must admit, like, I never watched all of Arrow. I think I saw like the first season, and that was it. But yeah, I liked it from
yeah,
what I
it's
saw.
probably the same thing where it's like the first 2, 3, maybe 4 seasons of Flash are probably going to be like pretty good to okay, and then it probably dips a bit after that.
Okay.
Um, you
Fair
can only
enough.
do you can only do so much with superheroes, like
Yeah.
especially with the Flash, because pretty much every enemy of the Flash is just another version of the Flash.
It's all about speed.
Oh, absolutely. So, like, the first season enemy is Reverse Flash. The second season enemy is um, Zoom or Doctor Zoom, something Zoom. It might just be Zoom, but
Okay.
it's like the Flash from another planet or something like that. From a multiverse planet or whatever.
Okay.
Well, actually, no, he's not the Flash, but he pretends to be the Flash. That's right. And this is where I start getting confused because I can't remember if there's this season. I can't remember if it's season 3 or 4, but like the enemy for one of those seasons is like the main antagonist is like a character called Savitar, which is literally Barry Allen from another multiverse who's trying to kill all the other Flashes or something like that.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it's just like like pretty much every season is just like another version of the Flash that is the enemy, but it's also kind of plays out like well, at least how Supernatural started anyway. Like, the villain of the week kind of thing. So you've got like the Reverse Flash in the background all the time, but every week there's a new like super villain that they've got to look after.
Okay. And Reverse Flash, like, what does that mean? I have no idea who that is.
Like, it literally just means he's the bad Flash, like...
Okay, like the bad version kind of thing.
Yeah. So, like, the Flash has a red suit with yellow bits on it, and he has a yellow suit with red bits on it. The Flash is a good guy. The Reverse Flash is a bad guy. I can't remember a whole lot of his backstory, even though I should. I can't remember a whole lot of it. It's just basically he wants to be the Flash, ends up becoming bad, gets the same powers, and becomes
like
the Reverse Flash.
Reverse card for the Flash, pretty much.
Yeah, like Bizarro Superman kind of thing. Like, it's just the opposite. Bad guy. Yeah, not really much more to say about him than that. He's the bad version of Flash, and he's one of like the primary antagonists like throughout the history of the Flash. Like,
okay,
it's like kind of like the Joker to Batman almost.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're just always there, pretty much.
Yeah, for the most part, and because it's all speed and stuff, there's lots of time travel. So, like, even if they kill him somehow, he ends up coming back because he comes from like a different timeline or a different future or something like that, or a different multiverse.
Okay. Yeah, right. Well, I watched the second season of Night Action. Is it Night Action?
Night Action? I think that's what you said to me before.
Yeah. Oh, that's like the...
Oh, wait, no. Back in Action.
Oh, okay. No, that's a movie that I watched yesterday.
No,
is it The Night Watch? I'm pretty sure the show's called The Night Watch, but the people that he works for are called Night Action.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
There's so many action and nights in this thing. I'm getting so confused right now. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's I'm totally going to look this up because I'm like, fuck, I can't remember now.
Come on, you can do this. I believe in you.
Is it The Night Watch?
I know there's a movie called The Night Watch. It was like a Russian or something movie from like the early 2000s, and then there was a sequel called The Day Watch, or maybe it's the other way around. And then there was meant to be a third movie, but the second movie didn't do well enough.
It's called The Night Agent. Okay.
Samsonite. I was way off.
So yeah, it's The Night Agent, and he works for Night Action. Okay. That's not confusing at all.
No, not at all. Never.
All right, yeah, so I just finished the second season of that. It's just come out on Netflix, so yes, I really liked it. I only realised at the last episode too that it's actually from Sony, from their studios.
Yeah, right.
So I'm like, I guess actually good.
There we go. We can chalk up one good thing to Sony. The Spider-Verse movies are becoming a negative because it's taking so damn long for the third movie to come out. There's talk that the third movie won't come out until like 2026 now.
Really?
And it was meant to come out, I think, either April 23 or April 24. I can't remember now. But it was meant to come out like 6 months to a year after the second one came out, and that has not happened.
Yeah, because they've had... So are you talking about like the next Tom Holland Spider-Man movie?
No, the animated ones.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay,
that makes more sense.
Yeah, they're from the Sony animated studio. And yeah, they're amazing. If you haven't seen them, definitely watch them. But,
I haven't, but I'll put that on the list.
If only you had some kind of player of CD things I could just give some of these movies to you to watch.
I know. I do have a DVD player.
Really?
Yes, I actually still do have a DVD player.
I mean, to be fair, if I didn't have like a PlayStation or something that played DVDs, I would get one.
Fair.
But yeah, I haven't owned a DVD player, Blu-ray player, whatever you want to call it, since like my PlayStation 3.
Yeah, wow. See, I haven't had a console in a long time, so I had to have a DVD player.
Yeah, well, I had to have one too back when I played mostly Xbox 360 because it didn't play the Blu-rays. But
Okay.
then as soon as I got my PS3, I didn't yeet it, but like it got disconnected, and eventually, I don't know where the hell it went, but eventually it was lost to time in the ether.
That's cool. Yeah, that's happens. I think I do have a PS2 somewhere in the house still.
I don't even know if that would play Blu-rays. I'm pretty sure the PS2 only played DVDs.
I'm pretty sure you're right, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think Blu-rays. No, of course it didn't. Why would the PS2 play Blu-rays and the Xbox 360 didn't? I'm up it.
Blu-rays might not have even been a thing back then, to be honest.
They definitely were. It was just that Xbox were trying to do the whole HD DVD thing, which you might not remember.
No.
So you had to buy like an external like drive to watch. Yeah, HD. It was kind of like VHS and Beta back in the day. Like it was like, oh, Microsoft came out with their own like style of DVD to watch. That failed miserably. So now Sony just makes money off every console ever that uses the Blu-ray system to work.
Okay. Yeah, right.
Well, on that note, let's get into the episode. Let's play our music. And I'm actually pretty excited to talk about today's topic, which is Blink Twice.
Yes.
I believe once I told you about it and how... we'll discuss that part later, but once I told you about it, you were pretty keen to watch it. So, yeah, let's get into it and give it an old talky view.
Let's go.
Almost a jibble sandwich.
Okay, Dragon. So, what did you like about Blink Twice?
What did I like about it? Oh, man. It'll almost be easy to say what I didn't like about it, which was almost nothing.
Okay, cool. I actually have a couple of things that I'll say were probably weak points for me, but other than that, I thought it was a really solid movie.
Oh, absolutely. Like, just off the top of my head, I cannot think of like anything that was like super bad, but like,
No.
it definitely wasn't like Nosferatu 10 out of 10 to me. Like,
Yeah.
On my movie list, I've got it as an 8, I think, which, by the way, I'm now up to 8 movies for the year, Slowly,
shit.
slowly plodding into 365, like, just plodding away.
Getting there.
But to ask me, like, what did you not like about it? It's really hard to say because, like, any little bit that maybe was a bit like, oh, maybe I didn't like that part is kind of overshadowed by all the parts that I did like.
Okay.
Like the one thing I can think of right now as we're talking is it was a bit silly about the whole like getting bitten by the snakes causes them to remember stuff. Like
that was my probably one grievance as well. And I noticed what types of snakes they were using, and in real life they're not venomous. So
yeah, 100%. 100%. But like you got to be safe for your actors and stuff.
Yeah,
and
fair enough.
They at least tried to use snakes that look like they could be venomous, but like anyone who knows snakes well enough will know, they're just albino pythons. So, yeah. But like, I was able to suspend my disbelief enough to not care about it.
Yeah. Look, that was only the weak part of the storyline for me. Other than that, I thought it was really cool.
And maybe the woman as well, that like, the one that kind of I guess before we go further, we should reiterate that we don't care about spoilers on this show.
No.
We should probably put one in the description or say it before we start talking about it, just to remind people, because someone might come into this episode new and be like, "Hey, I wanted to watch that."
Yeah, that's true.
But hopefully, people are coming into the episode already having seen it and just wanting to hear us talk. So either way, yeah. The woman who is sort of trying to remind the main character that she's been there before by calling her the Red Rabbit or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
Like, not that she was like a bad character or anything, but it was just like that whole just plot point of her and the snakes and the venom was maybe probably the weakest part of the plot. Like,
I guess too, like there's no real motive there for her to help her. Like, I don't understand why she would have done that. Really?
Well, I imagine it would have just been that, like, they're sick of seeing all the people get abused as well. Like, that's the only thing I can think of. But, like, the same information could have been... Because she finds out that she's been to the island before basically by stumbling across photos of her being on there with, like, different haircut and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, that could have just happened anyway. You know what I mean? Like...
Yeah, that's true.
I'm thinking that... because it's a first-time director in Zoe Kravitz, and she also wrote the story. And I'm just assuming here that she just couldn't think of like a good reason as to why they would be remembering when no one else is, kind of thing.
Yeah,
okay. Like how do we set off the fact that they can now remember when they were forgetting everything all the time?
Yeah. I guess they had to have that written in there somewhere that would happen. So yeah.
Exactly. So like, it's not the worst thing I've ever heard in a story or whatever, but it was definitely probably the weakest part of the story.
Yeah. There is a trigger warning at the start of the movie as well. Just for anyone, which I thought was good, because some of the scenes are a bit graphic, I would say, and a little disturbing.
The scenes when they're sort of remembering what's been going on, definitely.
Yeah.
Like you don't see a lot, but just the content of it is, I imagine a lot of women have gone through things like that and may not want to relive that experience through a movie that they're meant to be getting entertained from.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I thought that was good. They had that on there.
100%. I really, really liked the use of Channing Tatum as being the main bad guy.
He did so well. The acting, like, from everyone was really great. But I thought, like, I was really impressed with him for doing this kind of role.
100%. I love seeing him in roles like this because he's not in too many, because obviously he's a good-looking guy and, he's pretty funny and all that kind of stuff. So he often gets put in those kind of roles. But he was also in a movie called Foxcatcher, which was about the... I forget the name of the dude. Something DuPont. I can't remember if that was the name of the brothers or the dude. But either way, there was these two brothers that were Olympic wrestlers. And they, this old eccentric dude had this compound called the Foxcatcher facility or something like that.
Okay.
And he would like get the Olympic wrestlers to like live there and be trained by one of the brothers. And the younger brother was like still competing or something like that.
Okay.
And it ends up that basically the old man ends up going kind of crazy and killing, I think, the older brother. But yeah, Channing Tatum was in that as well. And like, not only was he in it, but so was Steve Carell playing a serious role. And it was very, very good.
Cool.
Yeah, so letting people see this other side of him, I've seen him in interviews saying like, he loved being able to play the role for that reason, but also, I love seeing it because playing against type is always good, I think, if you can pull it off. Like, some people can't, and that's okay, you get your I was gonna say Adam Sandler, but even he can do a serious role when he wants to. But
there are definitely some actors and actresses though that get typecast early on and then they really struggle to get into other roles even if they are good at it.
100% again. And my best example for that is and always will be Matthew McConaughey.
Yes.
He started getting typecast into romantic comedies
Mhm.
because he had done like a horror movie here and there, and a serious role or whatever. But in the space of like 3 or 4 years, he did like 5 romantic comedies or something like that. Maybe I'm getting that timeline wrong a bit, but he basically got to a point where he stopped accepting like roles that were romantic comedies and waited until someone hired him for a better role.
Okay. That would explain why he kind of disappeared for a little bit then, I would say.
100%. I'm just going to quickly look it up now because like there's literally a 2-year gap between him making movies, and I always forget what the last movie he made was and then the next one was. I think it was the last movie was something and the next one was Dallas Buyers Club, but that might have been a little bit later.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to think because there's been plenty of non-romantic comedy movies that he's been in since then.
100%. He's and that was the whole point of him doing what he did. So
Yeah.
I'm just scrolling to his page now when the stupid ad gets out of the way. All right, we gotta. Turns out he's done a few movies, so gotta scroll down quite a bit. It's up here. Here we go. So he did, over the course of a couple of years, he did like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, Sahara, which isn't a romantic, or maybe it is a romantic comedy, but it's like an action thing. They go out in the desert looking for gold or something. Failure to Launch, Fool's Gold, which is another romantic comedy thing set in starring Kate Hudson as well. Tropic Thunder, but that's not so bad. And then Surfer Dude and Ghost of Girlfriend's Past. So he after Ghost of Girlfriend's Past, he didn't do a movie for 2 years, and then he came back doing The Lincoln Lawyer.
Yep.
Then he did like a dark comedy called Bernie, a movie called Killer Joe. Dallas Buyers Club wasn't for a little bit after that, and it was the same year as Wolf of Wall Street as well, at least when it was released.
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember him in Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, he's only a minor role, but he's still in it. A movie called Mud, which I've seen, but I forget most of the plot at the moment. I haven't seen it since it came out. The only thing that he had like in that time of like trying to do all these different roles, anything he did that was anything like he did before was Magic Mike, but that was probably only because Magic Mike is actually quite good. Like you think it's going to be just like this, I don't know, like bro movie or something, but yeah, it's actually a really good movie.
Yeah, I think I've seen. It's funny. I think I watched the second one and then the last one. I haven't seen like the others.
Is there a third one?
I thought so. I could be wrong.
No. I have only seen the first one, so I do not know. But let me bring it up, because if there is a third one, Channing Tatum will be in it.
I think the last one I saw, he went over to England and Selma Hayek's becomes like his sugar mama kind of thing.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. There's Magic Mike, then there's Magic Mike XXL, and then Magic Mike's Last Dance.
Okay.
And that one only came out like 2 years ago.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I definitely haven't seen all of them, but I've seen some of them.
Yeah. Cool. But yeah, no. Back to the Blink Twice. Yes, him as the bad guy in that movie was genius casting.
Yeah, I thought, done very well. It was cool to see Christian Slater in something again too.
Yeah, I mean, he's been in things, but if you asked me to name anything he's been in lately, I couldn't tell you. The last thing I actually remember him being in, like remember being like, oh, Christian Slater's in this movie, and it's not like just like a cameo or a bit thing or whatever. Sorry, I'm actually about to talk about a cameo, but like, you know, it's not just like a passing thing or like he's playing himself at a, you know, at an event or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know how you get comedies where the like they get a whole bunch of actors to play themselves in the movie, like, you know, when they go to like a Oscars party or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the last thing I remember him actually being in was an episode of My Name is Earl, where he plays this stoner dude who lives in like a hut made out of his own feces and stuff.
Oh,
Like
this is amazing.
He lives in a commune and stuff.
Wow.
It turned in the because if you don't remember what My Name is Earl is about, he wins the lotto, gets hit by a car,
Yeah. Great
loses
show.
the lotto ticket. Yeah, great show. And then he sees what's that dude? He was on like MTV's. Anyway, he sees Carson Daly. There you go. He sees Carson Daly talk about karma and stuff, and goes, "Oh, I've got to make amends for my life." So Christian Slater plays this dude he's a big stoner, and like they go to rob him once before he's making up for all the bad stuff he's done, and like he's in there, but he's so stoned he doesn't realize that they're robbing him, and eventually they rob his entire house, and he's just like has no idea, and even when they go to apologize, and it was kind of. They say something about stealing his air conditioner. He's like, he said, "Yeah, I thought it wasn't working properly," or something like that. Like,
oh, that's so good.
Yeah, he's a great actor. I guess his acting style or something, or I mean, maybe he went to focus on families, or maybe he just stopped being a good actor or something. I don't know, but he disappeared, and
yeah.
I can't think of anything else that he's in lately, but I'm sure he is. Like, every time I'm like, oh man, that person hasn't been in a movie for years, I look it up and it's like, oh, they've got like 20 movies that I haven't seen.
I know. You're like, how did I not know about them?
I guess it is hard to keep up with every single bloody thing that comes out these days. Like,
yeah,
like
that's true.
Even if it wasn't for streaming, like things are just so much more easier to be made now. That so many more movies come out. Like you look at the movies and you go, like the actual cinema, and go, hey, nothing's really coming out. But then there's just all these movies. Like an example being, I just watched Ricky Stenicki the other night. Like
I've been wanting to watch that. I just haven't got around to it.
It's funny. Like I think I give it like a 7 out of 10. Like it's like the plot is just there, so there's stuff to do. The ending is one of those endings where it's like there's no way this guy would get like, because like, you know, it's one of those endings where like because the whole premise is they invent a character, like a person, when they're young. They accidentally set fire to a house, and they invent like this Ricky Stenicki character to get away with it, and it works. So then their whole life they just keep blaming Ricky Stenicki on like all the bad things, or it's like, oh, Ricky Stenicki's got cancer, so we've got to go visit him when they want to go watch the Super Bowl or something like that.
Okay.
But then they want to, like, the family wants to meet him or whatever, so they'll hire like a drunk actor, like a drunk dude, a drunk aspiring actor played by John Cena, who at the time of meeting him does covers of famous songs, but all about masturbating. So,
oh my god, that just makes me want to watch it even more now.
The movie would have been good even if it wasn't John Cena, but he definitely like he takes what could have been like a 5 to a 7, like just his character alone. But it's just one of those classic, like, you know, 90s 2000 kind of plots where it's like, you know, he's this fucking loser drunk dude, but he ends up making everyone's life better. And then at the end, even though he's done all this shit that like is probably illegal, everyone's just like, oh, we forgive him now. And it's like, oh, it's happy ending and like, okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just like, don't go into the movie expecting like, I mean, it's a bit of a heartwarming story, I guess, but don't go into expecting like, oh man, this is going to be like a cutting edge story about morals or something. It's like, No, the moral of the story is fake it till you make it, and everything will be okay. Like, he literally gets hired, the Ricky Stenicki character literally gets hired by one of the guy's workplaces for $250,000 a year. And he's like, I have
What?
no idea what I'm doing. Like, when you watch it, you'll understand why, but it's just so fucking funny. Like,
Yeah, awesome.
I forgot why that came up, but back to Blink Twice, I guess, again.
Again.
It was really good too seeing, I think her name's Aaliyah Shawkat. She plays the cousin Maybe from Arrested Development.
Yes. I did recognize her in the movie. Yeah.
And
yeah, and I haven't seen her in much since Arrested Development, so it was good to see her in something.
Yeah, she's definitely in things, but not a lot of high profile things, that's for sure.
Okay.
I think it was like a lot of TV movies and cameos, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Afterwards, and I know she's been in a couple. I think she was in like Trainwreck or something like that as like a really minor character, something like that. Don't quote me because I'm not looking at her thing right now, seeing what she's in. I'm just trying to remember. But yeah, no, she played her role. I mean, she's a great actress. Like, I don't know if she'll ever win an Oscar or anything like that, but everything I've actually seen her in, she's fucking good in. So
yeah.
That was good. Seeing Haley Joel Osment again as well was weird.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like all grown up and just, yeah.
Especially after seeing him in The Boys.
Oh, yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah,
okay.
I was like literally the only thing I've seen him in, well, maybe not literally, but the only thing I've definitely know that I've seen him in since The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
Is The Boys, and then so seeing him go from The Boys and then to Blink Twice, I was like, oh, okay, interesting, cool.
Yeah. In The Boys, was he like a sort of washed up superhero that could touch you and read your mind or something like that?
Yeah, he was called like Mesmerizer or something like that.
Yeah, okay. That's right. He didn't last long from what I remember.
Well, technically he does last long, but he's only in like 2 or 3 episodes. Like, he's in like the first season, and then in the third season, I'm pretty sure it's the third season, he gets his face crushed in the fucking bathroom at like a Comic-Con or something.
That's right. Man, that's such a great show. Another great show.
Yeah, I need to finish season 4. I'm only like halfway through.
Do it.
I have a really bad problem of starting shows and getting to near the end and not finishing them. It like, I don't know what it is. Well, I do know what it is. Another show or another movie or something comes out and distracts me from it, and then I just can't get myself back to that show.
To the show. Okay.
But yeah, like because we watched season 1 to 3 of The Boys, then we watched Gen V season 1, and then we started watching season 4 of The Boys, and then we didn't feel like The Boys one night, so we started watching The Silo.
Yeah.
But then we're only like 4 episodes into that, and we've moved on to something else now.
So just bits and pieces of everything, pretty much.
Yeah, I can tell you a little bit about just about anything in the world. I just can't tell you all of it.
So what would you rate Blink Twice?
I did mention before, but I would definitely give it like.
Okay.
But I'll repeat. It's okay. I'd definitely give it like an 8. Like, the story's great, the acting's great, the plot, other than a few little things, is great. Like, it's not amazing. It's a really good like feminist power movement sort of movie, which is, you know.
Yeah, especially the ending and what happens there.
I was building up to the ending because it's definitely good to get a woman's perspective on it, because me and Amber watched it at the exact same time, but came to 2 very different conclusions at the end. Well, I wouldn't say different. We came to like the same conclusion from a different angle.
Okay.
Which is also which is why also I'm going to get you to watch The Substance, which hopefully you can watch all the way through because it is a body horror movie, and
Okay.
we know how much you love your horror movies.
Yes.
Because it has some similar messaging in that movie, and just getting your take on it as well would be like. I mean, obviously, I like your take on things. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this. But
Yep.
getting your take specifically on this movie, it's definitely more for I wouldn't say more for a female audience, but the message is more of a female-led message, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Just like Blink Twice, where it's like, men can be on board or whatever, but like the movie kind of isn't for us. At the end of the day, it's which we'll come back to when we talk more about the ending.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
What about yourself? How do you rate it?
Look, if we're going out of 10, I would probably go, a 7 or an 8. I really did enjoy it. It was good, and I did like the messaging there as well.
Yeah, we will one day get the Nick Cage system up and running, but until then, we'll have to. I don't know. We'll have to get like pin a post on the Facebook or something to be like, so if people want to double check what the rating means, they can look at it, because it will get confusing. But just like one of my favorite actors, Nicolas Cage, that's just how I like it.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Man, I had notes written down, but I lost because like for the first time in ages, I wrote them down on a piece of paper instead of in my phone as I was watching it.
Okay.
And I either lost the paper or threw it out while I was cleaning without realizing. So I had a whole bunch of notes about about the movie in general. Something that me and Amber disagreed on was the character. Let me just look up his name here. Hang on. I think it's Lucas, but just give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, I was going to say there is a character
Lucas
called Lucas. Yeah.
Yeah, the character Lucas. So Amber, when we spoke about it last, which we haven't spoken about it much since we saw it, she was of the belief that he was also one of the people being taken advantage of. But I'm of the belief that he was like getting beaten and stuff and giving the perfume or whatever to forget about stuff because he wasn't joining in with everyone else.
Yeah, so from what I took away from that movie, I think I would more agree with you. I think he didn't want to participate. And for some reason they wanted to keep him around. So yeah, they were just making him forget about what was going on.
I guess it wasn't so much that they wanted to keep him around. It was more that, like, what are they going to do with him kind of thing. Like, they probably didn't want to kill him because he was a part of the company, but he's not joining in. So, yeah. And just to refresh people's memories, the reason they forget is because of the perfume that they wear every morning, which...
Yeah.
I guess from my point of view, I can't understand that because, like, I'm not don't understand the concept, sorry, but like the women get up every morning and put the perfume on. Like, I can't imagine why you would do it all the time. Like, it's just not a thing that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's
to be fair, though,
you have to rely on the fact that they're going to get up every morning, put on the perfume, and all that stuff. Like,
I was thinking that too. Like, you have to, just trust that they're going to do that every morning. As like a normal routine, I do put on perfume every morning, but that's not to say all women do that. It could be different.
Yeah.
You might, what if someone didn't like the smell of it? Then they're going to be like, I'm not going to wear it. So,
Exactly. But there was also something about like the trauma they were experiencing. The more traumatic it was, the more they forgot. So maybe the perfume was more of like an icing on the cake than as opposed to like the thing that was making them forget.
I think it's the other way round. I think it's the perfume makes them forget, and the trauma makes it so like they forget even more than what they probably would have if there was no trauma.
Yeah, I definitely can't argue with it. Like, I can't be like, oh yeah, I think that's wrong. Like, I'm not
Okay.
100% sure myself. I just know that it's a mixture of because you know I think it's Christian Slater's character that says, yeah, of course you don't remember. You know, you get the fucking perfume or whatever.
I don't even remember that.
It's during the end part when you know everything's going to hell in a
Shit.
handbasket.
Okay.
I think it might be before. No, maybe it's not. Christian Slater's character. Sorry, it might be. Now this was funny to me. The character Cody, played by Simon Rex. Now I'm sure he's been in other things.
Is that the chef?
He might be the chef dude.
Is he the one that keeps calling her babe?
Yeah, and she's like, fuck off. At least at first she's like, fuck off, like, don't call me that.
I only know him from one place. I'm betting you're going to say the same thing.
Scary Movie 3 and 4.
Yep.
I was just like, oh my God. I was like, I haven't seen this guy's face in forever. And like, I'm sure I have, but I just, like, being a main character in something and him not being like funny, I was like, what the hell is this movie?
I know, I was a bit like weirded out by that. I'm like, I am not used to this. But
seeing Gina Davis in something again was pretty cool too. I used to love movies with her in it back in the day.
Me too. Like The Long Kiss Goodnight, fucking classic.
Yeah, absolutely, one of my favorite movies. And even though it's a bit of a bomb movie that people don't like, I loved Cutthroat Island. I was a big fan.
I don't think I've seen that.
It was like a Waterworld level movie bomb.
Okay.
But well, actually, no, that's not true, because Waterworld actually made a lot of money. It just didn't make, like, it made its money back in a little bit. It didn't, like, it was meant to be like the next, you know, Terminator 2 style thing.
Massively over budget as well.
Exactly. But Cutthroat Island was meant to be like, you know, it was meant to be what Pirates of the Caribbean ended up being. And pretty much once Cutthroat Island came out, they didn't make a pirate movie until Pirates of the Caribbean. At least not a mainstream one anyway.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And I love Matthew Modine as well. So, which ironically, I can't even think of anything else that he's bloody in at the moment, because as usual, I keep getting him confused with Carrie Ells. And I'm like, oh, he was in, no, that was Carrie Ells. I'm like, I was in this bit. No, that was Carrie Ells as well.
I love Carrie Ells too. Matthew Modine. I'm just going to look him up because I don't know that name.
Like when you see him, you'll be like,
oh, yeah, I know that face.
Yeah, it's the character. It's the guy they employ when they can't get Carrie Ells.
Stranger Things is
he's the father figure person. That's right.
Yeah,
the father figure doctor person. But yeah, obviously he's in other stuff as well. But I honestly, right, even though I'm saying, hey, he was one of my favorite actors back in the day, I cannot think of anything he was in except for Cutthroat Island right
now. But yeah, Gina Davis, though, that is a face I haven't seen in a very long time.
Yeah, and even though her role wasn't like large, like it wasn't a small role, but it wasn't like a large role, like, you know, it was fantastic. Like there wasn't one single person in the movie, like from the main actors down to the security guard, that didn't put in like a decent performance, except for maybe the maid person. Like,
okay.
Like, yeah, I'm not saying that she was bad. It was probably more so that it just kind of didn't fit the mood of the rest of the movies a little bit.
Yeah, that definitely stood out for me too. It was a bit different to, like you said, the mood of the movie. Which I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but yeah,
it was definitely meant to be unsettling. That's for sure.
Yeah,
and I don't know if it's just they chose like a poor way to portray it. The person who portrayed the role wasn't that great at making it seem more ominous, or just the fact that that plot point, as we said, didn't really fit the theme of the movie. Like, as in, not the theme, but like it stands out as being like a poor part of the story.
Yeah.
So whatever it was, just yeah, that would be the only thing that I would like. The only person that I would even say was like maybe like not a good performance, and it's only based, and it's probably from things out of her control. Although ironically, she is listed in the credits as badass maid. So there you go.
Okay. That's cool. I guess she was pretty badass with killing and gutting snakes and whatever the fuck she was doing with them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And what do they call it? Milking them for the venom.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder as well. Like they're so like they don't want the snakes around because the venom counteracts the poison and all that stuff. Either the perfume and the stuff. Why are they not watching her more? Like, why are they letting her milk the snakes and like not keeping an eye on her and stuff? Like,
yeah, that is true.
you know,
Because yeah, she's just like there with a bottle of the venom, like ready to drink.
yeah, exactly. She's
point.
like, here, drink this, and you're like, firstly, it's like, why would you do it? But then I guess at that point, she was still a bit like, she probably just thought it was like alcohol or something.
Yeah, which exactly, I think that's what she thought it was, the character.
Yeah, now that it has been a week or two since I've watched it, so it's not as fresh in my memory. But yeah, just I don't know. Like I said, it's hard to say like, oh, that was bad because other things like overwrite the part that like that being bad.
Yeah, definitely.
Before,
one thing.
Oh no,
yeah.
you go.
I was
Sorry.
going to say, I liked the opening scene and how that comes back when she finally realizes that she's been there before.
Yeah, it was really cool. I don't want to get too much into that because I think we could end up talking about the ending for a fair bit as well.
Okay.
So, because what I was about to say was there anything else before we move into like talking about the ending and stuff? Is there anything else that like stood out for better or for worse?
For better, I think just a lot of the symbolism throughout the movie. Like, one thing I noticed, the girls are always in white, which I think is probably symbolizing their innocence.
Innocence, or the fact that they're sacrifices, I would say, like because if you think about it, the whole thing is they get them to the island, have their way with them, and then make them forget and just do it for however long they keep them there for.
True.
So innocence would work as well to me, but I would probably put it more under the category of sacrificial.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense too. I didn't think about it like that. And then I noticed as well, I think it's after Jess is bitten, you see her with the yellow towel around her head. And I guess that towel is now signifying that she's, no longer sacrificial and innocent. She's on her way to remembering she's been bitten by the yellow snake. There's just things like that throughout the movie that I noticed that were, I guess, good indicators of where the movie was at.
Yeah, I think what you're trying to get at is like there was a lot of good foreshadowing without it like overly giving away the plot. Like you didn't look at something and go, oh, this is definitely what it's going to be. Like you always kind of knew what was going to be the outcome of what's going on, but you weren't ever 100% sure what was going on. Like
the dirt under her nails and stuff like that.
Yeah, like I was just thinking more of like, oh, they're just getting drugged or something, which they kind of were, but it was more about this thing of like, oh, they go through the trauma and then that helps them to forget. And it was a bit more complex than just, oh, they're getting drugged so they don't remember.
So and that's the thing. I thought at first too, they were just getting, just really wasted each night, that they weren't remembering what was happening. But then you see the thing with the perfume.
I just remembered one thing, because obviously it's still kind of there's still comedic moments in the movie. Like most good horror movies will have some comedic moments and stuff.
Yeah.
and how he keeps going on about the chair, and then that scene when she's hiding in the office, and you think, "Oh fuck, he's found her." Because I was actually fully expecting it to be like, he finds her, pulls her out, and that's when the sort of the ending is going to start kicking off.
Okay.
And then he goes, "Gotcha," and you're like, "Oh shit, here it goes." And then he picks up the chair and he puts it somewhere else and goes, "This is the spot for the chair," and then like walks out.
Yeah. And I guess too, for me, that chair as well, was that something for Gina Davis's character to keep focusing on with her forgetting?
I'm not 100% sure myself. I believe so, but I think if it's the perfume that makes her forget or whatever, I'd say that it's more just that. She does the things for them. She keeps all the uptake of the whatever, because she gets when she gets given the poison later in the venom later in the movie and remembers, she goes full circle, like, maybe I don't want to remember, and blah
Yeah.
blah. So I'm definitely not discounting it. I just didn't think of it like that. I thought it was just I kind of just thought it was more of like a funny thing about him being like, because he's like really a control freak, he's wants to be in charge of everything, and I just thought it was like just accentuating that part of his character, being like, I don't like this here, like, and like it just being such a big thing, and then them coming back to it later for like a bit of a comedic but still tense moment.
Yeah. No, that makes sense too. Definitely.
It's always good when you can get a movie that like can be interpreted in more than one way, and like you can't just flat out say no, that was wrong.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, something that can have a lot of layers like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like there's probably a correct answer, but you could look at the Lucas character as being either a victim or how I said before of just being drugged because he doesn't want to participate in all the bad stuff. Like there's probably a correct answer to that, but either one would fit into the theme.
Yeah, that's true. He one thing I noticed as well with him, when he's like at the end when everything's going to shit and he's in the house with Channing Tatum, and he's sort of like, "What did I do?" And Channing Tatum's like, "You did nothing. That's the whole point," kind of thing.
Yeah, he's like, you did nothing for them, you did nothing for you, blah blah
Yeah.
blah.
It made me wonder if it's kind of referencing people that, may know about sexual abuse and decide to do nothing about it. Like if that's maybe a representation of that.
I would 100% agree with that. And
Yeah.
even though I maybe didn't make the connection at the time or whatever, like I think I knew it subconsciously just because of how the ending is and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I probably wouldn't have brought it up like that if you didn't say it, but
Okay.
I guess that's probably now's a good time to like sort of lead into the talking about the ending in general and stuff.
Yeah.
Because it was quite a point of contention between me and Amber. Like it wasn't. We didn't argue. We weren't like, no, you're wrong. But it was like we both had a very clear difference of angle on the message of the ending. So like clearly, the message of the whole movie is basically about women getting their power back and all that kind of stuff. All the bad stuff that women go through, abuse, gaining the power from the abuse, etc., and so on. So
yeah.
I don't want to keep just bringing it up like, oh yeah, sexual abuse. Let's keep talking about just that. But I want to hear your sort of take on what you thought the ending meant, and before I kind of talk about, well, maybe you'll agree with me, but before I sort of talk about the other interpretation that I got from Amber.
Yeah, okay. To be honest, I haven't had a really sort of a big think about it, to be honest. But so are we sort of talking about the events in the house at the end and then actually like the proper part of the ending when it finishes? Or just one part
Um,
of that?
overall, I'm talking about the events after the house because there's a lot of like potential meaning. It's even though it's such a small section, there's a lot of potential meaning there. But you can talk about the house and all that stuff as well. I just sort of want to get your take on it in general because I was again
Okay.
to repeat myself, having this sort of completely different angle on the same kind of uh, we came to the same conclusion from a different angle is basically what I'm trying to say. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so I guess I was actually surprised with how it ended. So when they're in the house, it's on fire. It's pretty much the two main chicks left. Channing Tatum's been knocked out. You just see her dragging someone out of the house. I just assumed she was dragging her friend. It wasn't until they show the next scene with both the girls there conscious and moving around that you then see that she's actually dragged out Channing Tatum. So he's still alive. And then it moves on to a year later when they're back at the same event that she had been working at previously as like in catering or something like that, as like a waitress. And now she's there as like the main event, the main speaker.
Well, she's actually, if you don't quite remember, she's actually the CEO of the company now too.
Yeah, that's right. I did notice they like spoke to her like called her out as the CEO pretty much. Yeah, and she's married to Channing Tatum's character now.
I forgot that, but yeah, that is right.
Yeah, so they're now married. She's the CEO of the company, and he's the one now being abused. So he's
Yeah, I would still call it abuse.
Yeah, because it's like it's probably against his will. So
yeah, I'd probably frame it as using, like treating him the way that he treated her against him. But I would still say it's she's still abusing power over him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now he's the one that's forgetting every day, and doesn't know what's going on. So, and that's pretty much where it ends. Like you then see like the psychiatrist or whoever the doctor was that was doing therapy with Channing come up and try to talk to him. And then she sort of gets security to take him away. Because I think
was it security taken away, or was it more like, oh, we'll make an appointment with the secretary or something like that? I honestly can't remember that little detail.
I think she turns around as he tries to look at her, and she was like, "Oh, hi, Richie, I remember you," kind of thing, like making it obvious that she knew who he was and what he did to her. And then was like, yeah, something like, we can, talk to the secretary and make an appointment or something like that. But then you see her sort of like lean into someone else being like, call security or something. I don't know. It was kind of like she was just trying to palm him off and get him out of there kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. Like, not giving him the time of day at the very least.
Yeah. So yeah, there's definitely like a change of power there. Like the power dynamics at the end. She's now taken control. Honestly, like I can understand why she would. I think she was more in love with the whole idea of being famous and having money, not necessarily that she was really into Channing Tatum's character.
So, yeah, I mean, by the end, definitely not. And when Elias Shawkat's character is like, hey, we got to get out of here kind of thing, she was like, why are you taking this away from me? I finally got something nice in my life, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is obviously before she remembers as well what's going on.
Exactly, yeah. So I think this for her was her opportunity to become something more than what she'd sort of made her life to be. So, so she's decided to I guess stoop to the same levels that Channing Tatum had, and to get what she wants.
Yeah, for the most part, pretty much what you said is what I thought of the ending. Like, because there was that whole, probably the best scene in the movie, to be honest, the whole "I'm sorry" scene.
Oh yes, yeah, that was intense. He did that so well.
Yeah, and he actually did it in one take.
Wow.
He told the director that if he did it any more than one take, it wouldn't come out as sincere. I guess isn't the right word, but like
wouldn't
it would
seem
start
as
to feel
genuine, maybe.
Yeah, it wouldn't. It would feel fake if he tried to do more takes of it.
Okay.
So what you saw is apparently the first and only take of that scene.
That's pretty cool.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
So so you've got that. You've got the scene where she drags him out, and the other woman is like, "Hey, are you sure you know what you're doing?" kind of thing.
Yeah.
Cuts to the year later, and like he's the one there, basically like just full subservient, going like, "Oh yeah," like pretty much whatever she says, he does.
Yeah.
It's a full shift of the power dynamic, using, to use the allegory version, using the tactics of men to get into power, sort of thing. Like, he's been using all these tactics to prey on the women. Now she's using it to get what she wants. I think we've both seen the ending mostly the same way. Like that, which is definitely a way for the ending to be taken. And again, there's probably a correct way because the person who wrote it will know how they intended it.
Yeah. All right. And you're saying Amber's take was different?
Yeah. So she came to the same sort of conclusion about the flip of power and stuff. But ultimately, what she was kind of thinking was, because earlier in the movie, they were like, let's call the police. And it was like, oh, what are the police going to do? Like, they're not going to listen to us. They're just going to listen to these men and blah, blah, blah. So she was thinking that it was more of like no one's going to believe us if we tell them what happened. So they're doing this to sort of get away with all the murder and stuff, but also getting the things that they wanted. So it's kind of coming to the same conclusion of it being a power flip and getting what she wants, and all that kind of stuff.
True.
But
that makes total sense as well.
Yeah, that's what I was sort of getting. It wouldn't be 100% wrong to say that, but my feeling was that all these guys are dead. There would be so much evidence in there and stuff to back up their claims. Like, at that point, why wouldn't they be able to do it? Like, to say, hey, this is what's going on. But again, you could look at it and say, hey, that, because the part of the message of the movie is, the women don't get listened to in these situations. So you could still, I don't think that how she interpreted the ending is wrong. I just think it was slightly different. It wasn't that she couldn't do it, is that she decided to, which to me makes a difference, because she's decided to do it means she's taking back the power, but also flipping the power on him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because there could have been a few different options there. Like she, the girls could have left them to die and left the island.
My understanding is that pretty much everyone else does die except for him.
Yeah, exactly.
I could be wrong. Christian Slater technically could have survived, but I don't think so.
No, he was all messed up on the couch. He wasn't going anywhere.
That's right, because the house does burn down. Yeah.
So really, they could have been all left in there, left to die. Girls could have found a way home and just sort of, moved on and try and forget about it after then. But, or they could have tried to, get, save Channing, but then take him to the authorities. And then I guess that's when you would run into trouble because he is a billionaire. He'd have the lawyers to back him. You know, when you're just like a waitress, you're not going to have much of a chance, especially somewhere like America.
Yeah, 100%. And that's where
Yeah.
Amber's take, does make sense.
Yeah.
But even then, I don't want to say it like that because that's kind of dismissive, and I don't mean to be dismissive about it, but like, there's lots of billionaires and stuff now getting like P. Diddy, etc.
Trump? Like, yeah.
Trump, it's just like, so like at that point, like when it was all the guys were still alive, I was definitely like, yeah, there's no way she can go, call the cops or whatever and have them come out because those were like, hey, there's nothing to see here. But once the house was burnt, I guess the house burning down would get rid of a lot of evidence, but I don't know.
There were people murdered outside of the house, so too. So yeah, it would have been like, I don't know.
I was thinking more of the evidence of like the stuff that was going on there, like maybe most of the photos and stuff were in the house, so maybe that could make sense.
That's true.
But surely there'd be other evidence there. Like either way,
perfumes were in a different area.
That is true, but it just comes back to that point of being that there's a few different messages in. Like a few different ways you can take the message or come to the conclusion of the message of the movie, and you can't just outwardly be like, "Oh, that one's wrong" or "that one's wrong." Like, I mean, obviously, if you said the movie was about positive masculinity, you could say that was wrong.
Be like, "Bitch, you tripping?"
Yeah, exactly. But you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
As long as you're coming to. Not as long, but like if you're coming to the same conclusion at the end, it doesn't really matter how you took that journey to get there.
Yeah,
and that's what makes a movie like that this good. Is that it's like you'll get no matter how you figured it out, or no matter how it was presented to you while you're watching it, it's still the same message, and that's the most important part.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and yeah, from the sounds of it, like all three of us definitely got that sort of main message from the sounds of it.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, I'm just thinking again about like using a person like Channing Tatum. He's often portrayed as charming. I mean, he was charming, charismatic in the movie, but like he's funny, charming, charismatic, this nice guy. Like you see him even when you see him in like interviews and stuff, he's just like this. Seems like this lovely person.
Yeah,
and using that. Like I know movies and stuff have done it before, but we're not talking about other movies. We're talking about this one, and the fact that this movie uses the persona of like his other movie roles and just himself in general to be able to. Because like as you're watching the movie, even though we know the plot to a degree, even when it's like the start and it's like it's meant to be when he's not showing like an evil side yet. You still feel uneasy. Like he seems charming and sweet, but there's something like not nice. Like there's something weird about him. Something not nice going on. It gives you that. I guess it's that feeling. Guys would get it as well, but more in like I think someone wants to fight me sense. But like that uneasy sense, I imagine women would get when they're like at a bar or something, and it's like this dude's been looking at me weird, and like he seems nice, but there's just something weird about that gut feeling thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, you just get that kind of vibe from someone, and yeah, you definitely get a gut feeling being like, they could be trouble.
Yeah, and so yeah, I definitely think this movie proves how underrated he is as an actual actor. Like the fact that you're in movies makes you an actor, but then there's a difference between like David Spade and Daniel Day-Lewis. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
So the fact, this movie really helps flip the script. If it wasn't already flipped by some of his previous movies, it helps flip the script more for people who have just seen him as like a sex symbol or a comedy type actor.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've seen, I wouldn't say I've seen all of his stuff, but a fair bit. And yeah, that's definitely the first time I've seen him in that kind of role. with that sort of caliber of acting. It was good.
Yeah, well, I definitely recommend you watching Foxcatcher then, because
okay.
he is. I don't even think there's any like comedy in that movie. Like when I say comedy, I mean like actual comedic, like written down. This is a joke for the movie. Like there might be like some like scenes where there's like a bit of brotherly joking going along and stuff or whatever, but there's definitely no like the couch scene. There's no scene like the couch thing where it's like played to be serious but comes off as a little bit of a joke thing because of the way it's done,
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
There's no scenes where they're sitting around and making fun of things and all that kind of. It's just a full-on serious movie. Is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Speaking of full-on serious movies,
yeah.
Although I don't know if you would actually call it a full-on serious movie, but anyway, The Substance. I watched that just the other night, and I think you should give it a go. It is a body horror. It is not the style of movie that you are into.
Okay.
I do believe that it's not as sort of scary as most body horror movies are.
Okay.
Most of the real freaky stuff happens right at the end, so you can kind of build up to it, if that makes sense. Like it's not just like from the start, like, oh my god, there's fucking skin peeling off their faces and whatever. Like it builds up to it. But one of the reasons I think that you might enjoy it is because it has a very similar message, I feel, that Blink Twice has.
Okay.
And it's another movie that I would definitely like to get your opinion on, because I think we could possibly come to the same conclusion again from a different point of view, because again, when me and Amber watched it, we were coming to all the same conclusions, but I was pointing out things in a way that she was like, oh, I didn't even think of it that way. And she was doing the same for me, because obviously I don't have the lived experience of a woman. So I was seeing it as a more general thing, where she was seeing it more woman or femme specific.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Yeah, I'll give it a go.
Yeah, you reckon you can do it?
Yeah, I should be okay. Like gore, I can handle mostly. It's more like I guess supernatural, like scare stuff that I hate the most.
Yeah, okay. So like Insidious or something would be like way too scary for you in that sense.
Yeah. Stuff like Paranormal Activity, I'd say Insidious, all of those sorts of things.
Yeah, right.
I'm just like, no.
Some of those are the ones I love the most, but
yeah, okay.
But like, you can't really take my taste in horror movie. I mean, you can, but like, I'll watch from from the Nosferatu all the way down to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre to It's Killin' Time or whatever it's called.
It's Killin' Time.
It's got some stupid name. Let me look it up right now. It is it's not as stupid as that, but and ironically, I think it's actually Matthew McConaughey's first movie.
Oh, okay.
Or at least his first, no, it wouldn't have been his first movie, because he did the All Right movie before that.
All right.
I want to say Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Is that the one? No, it's Dazed and Confused. So he did Dazed and Confused before this movie, I'm pretty sure. But
okay,
it was I think it was his first sort of so he did Dazed and Confused, Angels in the Outfield, and then it's not as cheesy as I thought it was called. It's just the Return of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But the movie itself is super cheesy. He plays like a psychotic character, like over the top funny kind of way. Dennis Hopper's in it, and he has a chainsaw fight with Leatherface. Like,
Oh, wow.
they're is it Dennis Hopper? Someone's in it.
Okay.
I can't see Dennis Hopper's name on the list here, but maybe it doesn't have all of the characters because he's not in the movie much. He just he's like the sheriff that comes at the end to save the day kind of thing or something like that.
Let me guess, he gets killed in the fight?
I honestly don't remember. I just remember that it's like a sword fight with chainsaws, and it's fucking hilarious. And
Amazing.
Renee Zellweger is also in it.
Oh, shit.
It may be one of her first movies.
Yeah. I was going to say, I didn't realize she did those kinds of movies.
It's not as much the case these days, but honestly, most actors that you like, know, and love
All started with horror or early on?
Yeah. Almost all of them have, like, Jim Carrey did the comedy horror Love Bites or something like that.
Okay.
Love Bites. I know it's a movie about a vampire who's after him because he's a virgin and she needs virgin blood to stay youthful and stuff. So it's like he's getting, Love Bites might not be what it's called. Gosh, I'm getting too old. My memory's getting real bad. But yeah, like, so it wasn't like her first movie or anything. So she was also in Dazed and Confused. I know what I was saying. Reality Bites or whatever I was saying. Literally, there's a movie with Renee Zellweger in it called Reality Bites.
Okay.
So yeah, she was in a couple of movies, but it was probably one of her first main roles as well. Like first leading, because she's like the hero girl or whatever. Now I need to bloody look up the Jim Carrey movie.
Yeah. Oh, and Winona Ryder's in that, and Ben Stiller and Ethan Hawke. What the fuck?
In Reality Bites, yeah. I think it was written. I believe it was written by Quentin Tarantino and directed by Ben Stiller as well.
Oh, shit.
You're on. If you're still on it, you can maybe confirm that.
Yeah, let's have a look. Man, there's so many like actors in this movie that I know.
It's called Once Bitten. Is the movie
Once Bitten? Okay.
Yeah, it's still a comedy, but it's like a horror comedy. Like vampires, blood, blah blah blah. But yeah, a lot of high profile actors. I mean, Johnny Depp's a classic example. His first ever movie role was Nightmare on Elm Street, the original.
Yes. I actually watched that a couple of years ago.
Yeah, we watched it all together, remember?
Oh, did we?
We had that Discord call and we watched, a whole bunch of us watched it.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you didn't watch it then with us, but I'm sure you did. I'm sure you were one of the people that was watching it with us because it was going to be a thing that we did, but it was, I don't know, it wasn't a bad thing, but like, how sometimes you think, oh, this is a good idea, but then you're like, it's just not the same as sitting down watching it with your friends, like in person kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, okay.
There could be a way to make it still interesting as a thing to do, but it was more of just like let's watch the movie together, like. Yeah. We weren't like talking. I wasn't talking over it or giving stupid facts or anything like that.
Well, that'll be a first.
I think you need to shut your mouth right now. I care not for your tone, nor your delivery.
Can I just say, I think the first movie I ever saw Johnny Depp in was Cry Baby. Did you ever see that?
I did, but I don't remember much. I just remember it being weird.
Yeah, I can't remember. I saw it a number of times growing up, and it was one of my favorite movies for a while as a kid.
Wasn't the whole thing is that like he cries on command and the girls love him or something like that? Like,
no, but
honestly, I don't remember it much. I just remember watching it and going, "This movie's weird."
Yeah. Okay. So pretty much, there's like, it is weird. It's got It's a slightly a musical as well. Like there's a few songs throughout it that the
That's
characters sing,
right.
but it's pretty much based around like the straight edge teenage girl falls for this,
Yeah,
leather bad
the,
boy. Yeah.
the Grease story, Danny and Sandy or whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah, but yeah, and all this other shit happens, but. Yeah, there's like I think there's even like a game of chicken towards the end where they're like on him and the other guy fighting for the girl are like on cars kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like on top of the
right.
cars as they're racing towards each other and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, I know I know I have seen it, but yeah, I don't remember it. I just remember weird parts happening, and like maybe it's not as weird as I remember.
Oh no, it is. I
Oh, it
watched
is?
it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I watched it. It'd be years. Like I watched it as an adult, probably like 3 or 4 years ago, and was like, okay, this doesn't hold up as well as I remember it, but I still like it because it's nostalgic for me. So it was, definitely a weird movie.
Speaking of movies that don't hold up, The One. Oh my god.
The One.
Jason Statham, Jet Li. It was like one of my favorite action movies of the 2000s. Awesome soundtrack. It's all the new metal songs and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I rewatched it. I don't know how long ago now, but we'll put it this way: I haven't watched it again since. Like, there's not like it's still an okay movie, some cool fight scenes and a few funny things, like when they're showing all the different Jet Lis from the other multiverse worlds that have been killed. And there's like Surfer Jet Li and stuff. But
yeah, I think I have seen it. It's very vague memory of that one though.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not a bad movie to go back and watch, but like I remember it being so awesome, so many cool fight scenes, and like because it's like the premise is it's basically Highlander. So like there's a dude in the Jet Li plays this dude in the world who like he's just getting stronger and stuff for no, like he's just like, oh, I can like jump higher and I'm stronger when I fight and stuff, and he doesn't know why, and then like a multiverse cop comes and tells him that there's like another Jet Li that's going around to all the other worlds and killing them all, because the more he kills, the stronger he gets as well. So, and he's trying to be the only one, so he's like the strongest person and whatever. So it's basically just Highlander. But when I rewatched it, I was like, oh man, like I can't wait for, like, there was barely any fight scenes in it. At the end of the movie, Jet Li fights himself. And I remember that being so epic, and it was like very clearly, like you could tell when there was like a stunt double, or when it was like a green screen section. Like I was just so disappointed, because like I was like, oh man, I haven't seen this in years. It was amazing, and it was just, I wouldn't say it was dog shit, but like compared to my memory of it, it was dog shit.
That's a shame.
It was so disappointing. Like I think I even bought it on like, not for much. I would have only bought it if it was on special, but I think I might have even bought it and then been like so disappointed, and like just threw it into the cupboard or something.
Just like frisbeed it into the cupboard, like be gone.
Yeah, like there's some movies that I refuse to go back to, because I'm like, I have great memories of this movie, and I don't want it to not hold up and like be a crap movie now.
Fair, that's fair. Yeah, there's probably I'd probably have some movies like that too that I wouldn't risk watching again.
100%. I can't think of any off the top of my head right now. Well, actually, I probably wouldn't watch Bloodsport again these days.
No, there's probably some old martial arts movies like that I wouldn't go back to now, because I know that they're not going to be good.
Yeah, 100%. I watched Hard Target like in the last few years as well, because again, it's directed by John Woo, it's Van Damme, blah 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 blah, and I just watched it and I literally got bored through the movie. Like there was a couple of cool action scenes, but like what I think happened is because at this point of his career, John Woo had made some really cool Chinese or I apologize. I forget where he's from. I think it's Chinese movie. Like martial arts action movies. He made Hard Boiled, and I can't think of the other one that's he's really known for, like from the 80s or early 90s or whatever. So this was like his first Hollywood movie, and I think they didn't quite trust him with like a big budget and all that kind of stuff because he wasn't because he wasn't a proven Hollywood director. And then I also remember reading something about Van Damme like getting in the editing room and like giving himself more screen time and stuff. But I will say he does have the best looking mullet you've ever seen in that movie. His mullet has won me 2 Super Bowls in my NFL fantasy league. Unfortunately, his mullet has to be retired because I had a very poor season this year. But I was very happy with the previous 2 Super Bowl wins in a row. Okay.
So you just, move on from mullet to mullet when you need to?
I believe that's how my luck works, yes. It's scientifically proven.
Nice.
Scientifically proven luck.
So whose mullet have you got at the moment?
I haven't changed it yet because I'm trying to decide. There's a couple of good ones. There's Dolph Lundgren in Masters of the Universe.
Oh shit! I actually saw a poster for that not long ago and was like, "Wow, I totally forgot there was a movie."
Yeah, and it's hilarious because they couldn't get enough money to make like the sets, and there was some reason they couldn't actually call it He-Man as well. Like they couldn't get the licensing to the word He-Man.
That's right.
Because I think the full title of the cartoon is actually called He-Man: Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, that's right.
And they couldn't get the rights to the He-Man, only the Masters of the Universe part, and then they couldn't afford to build sets that are set in the world that He-Man's from. So they did this whole story of like he comes to Earth and stuff.
Why did they even bother?
Look, I'm sure it's terribly good. Courtney Cox is in it as well.
Oh my god. Okay. I wonder if she plays Evil Lynn. I'll have to have a look. Okay, I used to love watching.
No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. Pretty much the only characters from the show that are from the cartoon that I can remember is Skeletor and He-Man. She plays a character that when he comes to Earth, like she's like the I guide you around Earth person, okay. And they create this other character for the movie. He kind of reminds me of Snarf from Thundercats, but he's like a tech thing, and he's trying to like rebuild the dimension thing so they can go back to planet. I can't remember what it's called anymore. The place they live.
Oh, Eternia.
Yeah, that's it, Eternia.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he doesn't even say I have the power. Like there's no like, oh, yeah. There's no like, oh, I'm weak Prince Adam and then I become He-Man. He's just like big buff the whole time.
What? Okay.
Yeah, but look, it was the 80s and what were you going to expect? Like
that's true.
There was like no good adaptations of anything back then that I can think of. Like when it comes to cartoons and video games and stuff anyway.
Yeah, that's fair. I have to say, like, talking of He-Man, I really enjoyed
the new She-Ra cartoon.
There's a new one.
I don't know if it's new or if it's just a new season, but yes.
Okay, so I knew there was a new series for He-Man. I didn't realize there was one for She-Ra.
Oh man, you got to watch it.
What?
Everyone's so gay in it. It's amazing.
Wait, you should look at how like what the characters look like in the original animated series. It's like gay paradise, honestly.
And when I say gay, I don't mean like everything looks or like like a defensive way. When I'm saying everything's so gay, I mean like She-Ra's like a lesbian, and there's like another character who's like definitely bisexual or something. You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
There's so much like queer representation and stuff happening in the show. Like it is so gay. It's so good.
Fuck, I need to watch it.
I didn't realize there was a new He-Man. I probably did.
Yeah, so
but I definitely forgot it.
just having a look because it's not brand new now. So it's a new series called Masters of the Universe Revelation. I think it was looks like 2022 it first came out, and there's 2 seasons.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, and it was made by Kevin Smith.
Yeah, Kevin Smith writes a lot more than, like, if you go through his credits as a writer, he does a lot more than you think that he does. Like,
Yeah,
obviously,
true.
he's only known for his Askew Universe mostly, and a few other movies, but he's done a whole bunch of comic book series. Like, I can't remember if it was Batman or something else, but like he's written, for TV shows, other movies, blah blah blah. Like, yeah, he does. He does a lot more than you think. Same as Quentin Tarantino. Like, you just think of him as, oh yeah, Quentin Tarantino does his movies, but like he does like episodes and stuff for like TV shows all the time.
Oh wow, yeah, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and like I'm pretty sure it's Reality Bites. This is a Quentin Tarantino movie. From Dusk Till Dawn was written by Quentin Tarantino.
I have seen that one. That was good.
Yeah, it's great, and he gave it to his friend Robert Rodriguez to direct, which you'll know him from.
Is that the actor?
No, I mean, I don't think so. I don't like Eli Roth does some acting, even though he's a director, but I don't think he's like that. He did like Machete and stuff.
Yep.
And I can think of a whole bunch of other movies that he's done, but he also directed the Spy Kids series.
Oh.
It's really funny because you go from like Machete and like what was that movie, like Death Proof and
Death Proof, that's right.
And the zombie one, because Robert Rodriguez did the zombie one, and Quentin Tarantino did the car one.
Planet Terror, Sin City?
Planet Terror, that's it.
Yeah. I'm just having a look now.
And like, so like he does all this like gory stuff, cool stuff. I think no, maybe I'm wrong on that one. I was going to say, I think Robert Rodriguez also does the Antonio Banderas movie. The one where he's like, oh, why am I so bad at remembering the names of these movies at the moment? The one where he plays like the guitar player, who's also like an assassin. I can only think of the name of the sequel, Once Upon a Time in Mexico, that has Johnny Depp and Enrique Iglesias in it. But there was the 2 movies before that. One that was done like in Spanish, and maybe doesn't have Antonio Banderas in it. And then the sequel, which was done in English with Antonio Banderas, and then the 3rd movie, which was Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
I actually have no idea.
Well, I'm going to have to look it up because it's going to.
Yes, please.
My memory is so bad tonight. It's just real funny when you go from the stuff that he's done, and then it's like he's also done Academy Award winning Spy Kids.
I don't think I know the movies, but I don't think I've ever watched them.
As in the one Desperado, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Oh.
Desperado, I think, is the second one. Here we go. Let me bring it up. Robert Rodriguez. So let's bring up his IMDb thing.
I'm just looking. Desperado looks familiar, but I'm not sure if I've actually seen it.
You should. Oh, did he directed? I just missed it. He directed Alita Battle Angel as well. He might know that.
I saw that while I was just looking. I liked that movie. It was good.
Okay, so the original one is called El Mariachi, which was like the movie that got him into he did a movie before that, 2 short movies before that. Then he did a movie in Mexico in Spanish called El Mariachi, and El Mariachi is played by someone called Carlos Gallardo. So I don't know these Mexican actors, but it's meant to be really good. I think I have seen it, but not for a long time, because when I was younger, I had a real aversion to watching movies where I had to watch subtitles, and I'm glad I'm
Okay.
away. I'm glad I'm away from that, because I love Pan's Labyrinth. He also directed The Faculty, if you remember that movie at all.
Ooh, I've only seen bits of that, but I do remember that. Had like Josh Hartnett in it.
Yeah, Josh Hartnett, Elijah Wood.
Oh yeah. Wasn't like all the teachers aliens or something like that?
It wasn't like, I mean, yes, but it wasn't just all the teachers. It was also like the aliens were slowly infecting like all the school kids and the teachers,
Okay.
and stuff. And then it was like a bunch of outcasts who were getting doing the fight back, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so the second one's Desperado. El Mariachi is played by Antonio Banderas, and then Once Upon a Time in Mexico, which is Antonio Banderas again, but also Johnny Depp's in it, and Enrique Iglesias pretty much plays his caddy. Like, I don't know if I can't remember if he's meant to be like an apprentice or something, but
Okay.
like while he's off doing all of his assassin things, Enrique Iglesias is carrying like all the guns and stuff around with them, like, and doing some of the shooting and stuff sometimes, but he's basically like the I'll pass you a gun when you need it kind of guy.
That's cool. Fuck, he would have been young there.
I mean,
I guess how old is he?
He'd have to be at least like 70 or something now, surely. Like, oh, look it up.
Oh, I was talking about Enrique Iglesias.
Oh, sorry, my apologies. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, he this was 2003, so it was like he was probably only just married to Anna Kournikova at that point.
Okay.
Where is it? 2003. So I don't know how old he is now, but yeah, he would have been early 20s maximum.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even think of his bloody famous, the song.
I can be your hero, baby.
That's the one. Hopefully we don't get I do know sometimes you can get some copyright issues when even if you just sing a thing like that. But
oh, really?
We'll see how it goes. We'll test the waters.
Okay. Whoops.
I guess it just depends on the company. But yeah, no, that's right. That's the big song. Yeah, and I think that's actually how he met his wife too, because I think she was in the film clip for it.
Yeah, and a little bit of trivia. I think it was originally supposed to be someone like Liv Tyler.
Yeah, right.
And then it got changed out last minute for some reason. But yeah, and then it happened to be Anna Kournikova, and then they fell in love and got married.
And then he didn't turn out to be gay like Ricky Martin.
Well, that we know of anyway, but yeah.
Well, that is true. that was like a badly kept secret for such a long time.
I know, eh?
Look at those abs, for God's sake.
Even just his hip thrust when he's dancing and stuff.
Yeah, he's got way too much coordination for a straight man. Way too much hip flexibility. Like, he can basically twerk. No straight man I've met can do that.
Definitely not.
Well, how about we finish up here, because I think we've gotten well off topic by now.
Yeah, we certainly have.
Last thing.
Yeah.
I forgot to bring this up ages ago. Last thing. Blink Twice was originally called Pussy Island, but the company that distributes it or whatever was like, we're not going to release it under that name.
Oh, and, so she had to change it.
Yeah, so she it was written and developed under the name Pussy Island, maybe even like well into production.
Okay.
But then the distribution company was like, yeah, we're not going to distribute this if it's called Pussy Island. Like, we're just not. So she was like, fine, and changed it to Blink Twice.
And did you know Lucas is the actor as Uma Thurman's son?
Yes, also Ethan Hawke's son.
Yeah.
Yeah. obviously his name is something Hawk. I forgot what his first name is now.
Yeah. I didn't even notice that till I read it. I was like, okay.
I didn't know it until I saw his name, and then I guessed it, and then looked it up and confirmed it.
Cool.
Just like obviously Maya Hawke from Stranger Things and other movies is their daughter.
Yeah, that's right. She totally looks like them as well.
She does.
Yeah.
Him, I think you could probably say he looks like his mum, or at least her mum when she was younger. But I didn't pick it from looks. Where with Maya Hawke, I was like, she looks so familiar the whole time. Like,
yeah, okay.
Why does she look familiar? And then it's like, oh, she's their daughter. I'm like, that's that's why she looks familiar, because she kind of looks like a cross between them. In my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, I think so too. Definitely.
But yeah, now that we've fully exhausted the topic, I believe now is a good time to finish off. At least of this week's episode. Hopefully, you can get onto the substance before next week, and if you can't, that's all right.
Okay.
We'll I definitely want to talk about it soon, though, because I think there's so much about it, good and bad, that I want to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'll definitely get onto that this week.
And if you can't finish watching it, I understand, and I'll just talk to you about it.
Okay. Deal.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys, for listening in, and we will maybe be talking about what I just called it, the substance, and if not, just keep an eye out on the Facebook page or something, and I'm sure you'll hear from us soon.
Bye, guys.
See ya.